Most overrated player on the 49ers. This has nothing to do with money. This is all hype.
Overrated. I'd have to say, look, to me, it was kind of like a little bit of a tuck and pull again here. But I gotta think the most overrated is a little bit maybe Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey, just because I know it's kind of seeming like, wait, who overrates
It's
Mike
true,
McGlinchey?
though.
But
A
no,
lot of people think he's good. It's true.
I've seen the
True.
cases made, and honestly, when we were going overpaid players, it was Ebicon and then McGlinchey.
Yeah, McGlinchey's up there. He's making like 10
I just went
million.
Ebicon because it's like the cap hit, but
That's true.
if we're looking at, if I went salary, I was gonna say McGlinchey off top because he is not worth nearly $11 million. He hasn't proven that. Even if you take away last season, forget the injury, like his four seasons he played, it wasn't really enough to feel on that.
Yeah,
but McGlinchey, I just feel like the way, like, I see the way he's propped up to be like, look at him, bounce back year. He does better than what people think he is. And it's like, you know what? It's great that his pass blocking isn't as terrible as people make it out, like me. But the point is, when does he have those lapses in pass pro at the clutch moments? And so, the very several weighted plays that impact more versus like the other 100 he does great. To me, it kind of sounds like the clutch plays he lets up is obviously more worse. It's like, come on, dude, pick your poison. He's literally picking the actual poison at the wrong moment, which matters.
Yeah, I can't argue with that because the player you're picking is much worse than the player I'm going to pick. But I'm just talking about overrated, like the hype exceeding the product. And to me, for the last 2 years, it's been George Kittle. George Kittle for 2 years was probably the best tight end in the league. He was excellent. But I feel like the way people talk about him, especially locally, is that he's a Hall of Famer right now. Like, I don't know, man. Like, he has 20 career touchdowns. People are so dismissive of Vernon Davis' entire tenure with the Niners. Like, he was trash. He couldn't run. He didn't have hand. Dude, Vernon Davis had 2 different seasons where he had where he had 13 touchdowns. And he took over playoff games. Kittle has done nothing in the playoffs. He has 20 career touchdowns. Excellent player. But he's not a Hall of Famer yet. I mean, this guy's had 2 elite seasons. I'd like to see number 3. And he's not the greatest tight end in franchise history either. I still got to give the nod to Vernon. Vernon was faster, stronger, more productive on worse teams with way worse coordinators and coaches. So, yeah, I mean, Kittle, excellent player, but he's a little overrated. People talk about him like he is the greatest tight end of all time.
Yeah, in that sense, 1,000%. Like,
yeah,
it's the way that he's already like, oh, don't worry, it's Kittle, especially the last 2 seasons with his injuries and his lack of involvement. But I'd say it's more so the praise that sucks more than his actual production. Because again, I remember I hopped on your Cohn phone back when I was in Pro Bowl. I said, look, his targets and production isn't even like half his fault. He
had a good year last year. He had a good year.
So that if he's still playing even with Lance and he's like not getting the looks or whatever, like it's kind of hard for me to fully blame a receiver, especially when I've seen like the plays that he is getting open. It's just, is the quarterback actually throwing it? And is the coach Kyle Shanahan actually making him a priority figure to actually get the ball in his hands? Because remember, ultimately the coach could say, get the ball in George Kittle's goddamn hand. He could tell him, literally, this is what play we're going to do. Like, you're the coach. You can literally tell him, this is the play we're going, throw it to him. And I think we saw, didn't he average like 4 or 5 targets a game, something last year? And it wasn't really like a lot, especially after that Bengals game last year. It really dropped down. And after that, he was pretty much just a blocker. So I think in that sense, the way he's propped up to be like Hall of Famer, on the money. Vernon Davis is still the better 49er so far. But it's not like it's really like so much through a fault of his own. But yeah, I get it what you mean. Like they're definitely just already just summarizing him like he's like the man.
And I feel like people don't remember how good Vernon Davis was. Like, this is kind of my generation. I watched Vernon Davis the whole time. I mean, he was on terrible teams, but someone said that Kittle is stronger than Vernon. You guys don't remember Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis was a top 10 pick for a reason. Vernon Davis at the combine put up 33 reps of 225. 33. Kittle put up 18. You don't understand what kind of a freak Vernon Davis was. His vert was 42 inches. He ran a 4.4 flat. This guy was one of the most athletic players I've ever seen. And he produced. Now, could he have been better? Yes. Was his route running good? No. Were his hands great? Not particularly. Still, he took over playoff games against the Giants, against the Saints. Saying.
Because ever since he got cracked by Cam
Cam
Chancellor,
Chancellor.
that's pretty much ruined his reputation.
Also, his game was heavily dependent on speed. Once he lost it around 20, 30, it was over. But I mean, is Kittle not the same? I mean, his game is very dependent on speed. So I'd like to see what he's like at 30, which is why I was in favor of trading him. Because I mean, if you could go back and trade Vernon at 29, you'd get a lot more than what did they cut him? Did they cut Vernon? How did they get rid of Vernon? I forget. Trade him for nothing? It was over. It was too late.
I want to say trade, but I think I'm wrong.
Moving on.
Because he went to Denver after, or wait, no, he got traded to Denver from another team. I don't remember.
I don't remember.